Hi, this is Eric from livinglight.net and mobilemusthave.com. If you're feeling fairly overwhelmed by all of the choices on our online store and you've been all over the net looking for just a way for, good reliable internet in your RV or boat, this video is for you. Stay tuned and we'll show you what all the options are. So the number one comment we get on our blog and on our store when it comes to mobile internet is we've done a ton of research and we're honestly more confused than ever. What do I buy? So with Mobile Must Have, we've actually done a lot of the legwork for you by putting together our mobile internet bundles. And today we're going to be talking about the various options that are available, starting from the most economical bundle solution and moving our way up to our most advanced bundle. Now, before we go through each of the bundles, I want to talk through some basic terminology so that when I start discussing the features of each of the bundles, they make sense. If you want to skip forward from this part, that's fine. Look below and there'll be chapter links for each of the bundles if you're interested in learning what specific features are in each unit. But if you have time to watch the whole video, I strongly recommend it, especially if you're new to mobile internet. The first basic I want to go over with you guys is wireless internet technology because it comes in a lot of flavors. Most people have heard of cellular wireless technology, and a lot of people in their homes, if you have like a cable modem and the cable company provided you with a cable box that has Wi-Fi or mesh Wi-Fi, all these things, that's a totally different type of internet wireless technology that does exist. So I want to talk to you guys about some of the differences and some of the terminology for each that can be very confusing because they sound very similar. First, let's talk about cellular. Now, in its most basic, cellular technology, for this video, we're just going to keep it simple. It's broadcasting from a cell tower, right? So that's what we're going to refer to as cellular technology. There's quite a few different technologies that cellular's developed over the years. You may have heard of 2G. If you're older like me, then there was 3G, then there was 4G, and now the companies are starting to talk about 5G. Well, the G, to keep this video quick and simple, really just stands for generation. It's the next generation of that cellular wireless technology, and they're figuring out how to provide more bandwidth through that wireless spectrum, either by getting access to more spectrums or through newer, cooler technology. For the purpose of this video, and for all of our current mobile internet solutions as of 2020, we're going to be talking about 4G LTE and LTE advanced technology. If you're concerned or worried about 5G, honestly, we do have some videos that you can watch on that, but it's really developed and designed right now for urban environments where you're looking at feet from the cell tower, not miles. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. A kind of top-the-line 4G LTE advanced modem can support quite a fast speed. 900 plus megabits is what the modem itself is capable of doing. So 5G, while it sounds really good and it's going to be awesome for, NASCAR events probably in 6 months where we've got hundreds of thousands of people all in a small stadium, it's not really going to hit the RV industry probably until most of these technologies or your trip is already over with. If you really care about 5G, we do have some modems that you can message us about that have removable slots where you can put in a 5G modem. But again, I'm going to be honest with you, you're going to be spending a lot of money on a technology that's just not ready yet. So I recommend you just stick with what we're going to talk about in the video. Now, 4G doesn't necessarily always come all in the same flavor. There's original 4G, there's 4G LTE. I'm not going to kind of overwhelm you with all that stuff. But it's important for you to focus on the modem that you use to connect to the 4G network. Right now, there's kind of 4 common modems that we see on the market, and they're designated by what's called categories, or CAT. So you might hear terminology like a Cat 6 modem, which means a Category 6 modem, or a Cat 18 modem. So I'll tell you briefly the difference of those, and we'll go into it a little bit more in each of the bundles. A Cat 4 modem, which is very common in some of the consumer-grade internet products that we don't sell, some of the older Wi-Fi Ranger products, the Togo product, the WineGuard Connect product, those use Category 4 modems. Now, those do not support what's called LTE Advanced, and the primary difference is that they can only have one connection to the cell tower at a given time, and they only support 4 or so bands with the cell tower. Bands are like frequencies or channels. So, you know, a Category 4 modem might support 4 channels, and it can only use one channel at a time. Now, with all these categories, 6, 12, 18, we'll kind of get to the basics of what the differences are. A Category 6 modem has a max theoretical throughput, or kind of max download speed, of around 300 megabits per second, which is very fast. You won't see that typically in the US or anywhere because the cell towers don't necessarily have that much bandwidth to give you, but the modem is capable of it. A Category 12 modem, next step up, has a max throughput of 650 megabits, somewhere right around there. Theoretically double the speed of a Category 6. It allows you to connect to more channels with the tower simultaneously than the Category 6, or definitely the Category 4 that doesn't support any multi-channel connectivity. The third option is Category 18. Typically, Category 18 modems have 4 cellular antenna jacks on the back of them, and those have a max theoretical throughput of, I believe, 950 megabits, so quite a bit of bandwidth and speed. Again, the vast majority of cellular towers are not going to provide you with that much bandwidth, but a Category 18 modem typically will perform faster downloading and uploading than a Category 6 modem. Whether you're looking at a Category 6, 12, or 18, all of them are going to do what most people care about. The ability to watch Netflix, the ability to do a Zoom call, the ability to, you know, have multiple connections and TVs or Amazon Alexas connected all at one time, the ability to use the internet with 2, 3, maybe even 4 or 5 people in the RV. It can do all of that. The real limiting factor is not your modem, it's going to be the cell tower and your data plan and what that cell provider is giving you in that particular area of the country. From an average perspective, we tend to see the national average be somewhere between 10 and 30 megabits from a bandwidth perspective, and like a full HD stream from Netflix will use 4 or 5. So you're going to be okay with whatever modem that you choose, Cat 6, 12, or 18. However, the 12 and the 18 might be a little bit faster. So you might be thinking, I absolutely need to go for a Category 18 modem, then it's the fastest and it's only a few $100s more. Not necessarily. Category 18 modems tend to have the most problems. They require the most reboots, and they are a bit more finicky than your average Cat 6 or Cat 12 modem, which we find are much more stable. It's just newer technology, it's transmitting a lot more data and information, and things can go wrong, so oftentimes they need a little bit more attention. That doesn't mean that they're not for everyone. Lots of folks want the fastest possible and don't mind an occasional reboot here or there, but plan accordingly based on what's important to you. Okay, so we've got the basics of cellular discussed and kind of figured out. Now let's talk about kind of Wi-Fi, campground Wi-Fi, personal Wi-Fi in the RV, and how that's different from cellular. Okay, so cellular is transmitting from that cell tower. That's kind of where you're getting your main internet source if you're using cellular as your internet. Wi-Fi is transmitting from the mobile router. Wi-Fi comes in 2 basic normal flavors, 2.4 gigahertz and 5.8 gigahertz. Most people call that 2G or 5G, which is why it's so confusing, because the cellular, remember, 2G is the old cellular technology. Now we've got 2G Wi-Fi. They sound the same. They're not the same. They're very different. So instead of calling it 2G, we're going to call it 2 gigahertz. That will make it a little bit easier. 2 gigahertz Wi-Fi that would transmit from one of these modems that we'll talk about in all of our bundles is what we kind of call long-range Wi-Fi. It has the longest distance that it can travel. Lower frequencies travel further. 5 gigahertz, 5.8 gigahertz, most people just call it 5 gigahertz, is faster. It's about 4 to 5 times faster. So if your 2 gigahertz is going to operate at around, say, 20 or 30 megabits per connection, again, plenty for Netflix, plenty for everything per kind of connected device, your 5G is going to be north of 100, 120 megabits. It's still all 100% dependent on how fast your cellular connection is, but when we talk about these bundles and I say you have 2 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, that's the difference. So 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi or 2 gigahertz Wi-Fi, interchangeable kind of terminology, just depends on what is easier for you to remember, is going to be longer range but not as fast. The 5 gigahertz or 5.8 gigahertz is going to be shorter range but much faster. So why would you even need 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi in a setup? Well, that's a good question. 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi is very useful if you have multiple computers in your RV and you're doing file transfers in between those computers, or if you're in a really crowded or busy RV park where the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi is just so crowded that there's a lot of interference. It can be nice to have 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It's also tends to be good if you have a ton of devices. So you can have some of your devices running on the 2.4 and some running on the 5 gigahertz. All the bundles we'll discuss today will either support the 2.4 gigahertz, long range, slower, but totally fine for Netflix, browsing, internet, everything, or they'll support both. So we'll talk through kind of which ones are which in the coming bundle discussions. Another term you're going to hear us throwing around when we discuss these modems is something called Wi-Fi as WAN. So many terms, I'm really sorry, but trust me, this is one of the last ones and it's important. Wi-Fi as WAN is a feature that some of these more advanced routers have, which allows you to pick up public Wi-Fi, whether it's Walmart, Starbucks, campground Wi-Fi, an airport, a casino. They tend to broadcast Wi-Fi and a lot of them broadcast it outside. These advanced modems that support Wi-Fi as WAN, that's the technology, will allow you to take that public Wi-Fi and bring it in to your RV or your boat as if it's a internet source, just like cellular. So Wi-Fi as WAN is not the same as cellular. It means that you can use a public Wi-Fi access point as your internet source. Now, remember, the Wi-Fi's got to be good, meaning it's got to have enough bandwidth, it can't have too many people on it. And Wi-Fi as WAN is usually considered a backup for most of our customers, but it's a nice feature to have, especially if you like to travel in areas where the cellular coverage is not very good. All right, so you made it through the educational part of this video. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. Now, all of our bundles are going to have a couple components. You're going to get your cellular router or modem, that's your central hub of connectivity. That's where you're going to insert your SIM cards, and that's kind of the brain of the operation. You're going to have a roof antenna. That's an externally mounted antenna that can improve your access to campground Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi as WAN, one of the terms we talked about, or cellular, because these antennas have I don't want to call it boost, but they have something called additional gain that will improve your connectivity both to Wi-Fi or to cellular networks. You're also going to get a DC power cable, which will allow you to connect up your power here, not just to the included AC. These come with AC adapters, so you can plug them right into the wall, but it will also include a DC fused power adapter in case you want to wire it straight up to 12-volt battery. These bundles do not come with SIM cards. SIM cards are provided free of charge if you sign up for one of our internet reseller plans, or you can purchase SIMs on our store. I believe they're $9.99 with free shipping, or you can just hop over to AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, depending on who your carrier is, Cricket, whoever, as long as it's a hotspot plan, and they'll be able to provide you with a SIM card. All right, let's talk bundles. Our first bundle, it's our entry-level bundle. It's called the Essentials Bundle. In the Essentials Bundle, you're going to get a roof antenna that we'll show you in a minute, a cellular router. The model that you're going to get in the Essentials Bundle is right here. It's called the Max BR1 Mini. You get this modem, you get a GPS antenna, two small cellular antennas. These are in addition to the roof antenna, and a Wi-Fi antenna, as well as an AC power adapter and a DC power cord, which I don't have here, but there's a picture of it, and a quick start guide. Looking at this modem for a minute, just giving you a high-level overview. We've got a removable here DC power input for our 12-volt input. Now these modems do accept up to 30 volts, I believe. In case you have a 24-volt system, you can run it on your 24 volt system. Your bare wires from your DC fused power wire would go into here, and then you can screw them down from the top. Over here you've got your standard barrel connector, which you'd use with your kind of traditional AC power. You do not need to power the roof antennas, which we'll show you in a minute. And you do not need any of these antennas if you're going to be hooking up the roof antenna, but it does come with them. So if you're looking to get started, you can screw on these standard antennas, which still do give you a little bit of gain, much better than a hotspot. These are 2 decibel gain antennas. 2 decibels of gain is almost equal to 100% more cellular signal. So 2 decibels is a lot. And if you look at a cell phone or something, there's no antennas, so 2 decibels will significantly improve your signal. May not show in the bars a lot, but it's definitely going to make a big difference. It's one of the reasons why these are so popular. Roof antenna is going to do better than these, but it means that you can travel with this. If you want to pull it out of the RV, take it to a hotel, maybe you've got, you know, a lodge or something you want to use this in that doesn't have internet and you're not going to be by your RV, grab and go. You could pull this out, leave that in the RV still screwed into your 12 volt, and take along this plug and you're off to the races. In addition, you've got 2 LAN ports here for connecting local devices. And on this side, this is where you can insert your SIM cards. This device and all PepWave devices have a minimum of 2 SIM card slots, meaning you can load up 2 different carriers. You can load up in this device, say, Verizon in SIM slot A and AT&T in SIM slot B. There's a little dust cover on here, but I'll link a video to how you insert the SIM cards. It's quite easy. Just make sure you always use, like I said before, full-size SIMs. We've had people stick in the little ones and they get lost, and then we have to send the modems back for repair. So SIM slot A and SIM slot B do not get used at the same time. If you load in a SIM for, let's say, AT&T in slot A and Verizon in slot B, you'd have to go to the interface console. So you just type in an address, an IP address into your web browser, brings up a nice, easy web-based interface, and you can select SIM A or SIM B and give it about 30, 45 seconds. It'll reboot on the other carrier. Very handy. One of the reasons why our bundles, even our Essential bundle, is super, super popular, because you can switch between carriers, Verizon, AT&T. Now, you do need 2 data plans. You have to pay 2 monthlies, but if your primary is AT&T like ours is, and you find that there's no coverage in a particular area, you can get a limited plan from like a Verizon. Maybe it's only 15 gigs or something, but it'll get you out of a pinch if your primary plan is not accessible in that area. Now, before we go into the roof antenna, I don't want to make this too complicated, but just going over a feature, this modem does not, out of the box, support that technology to pick up campground Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi as WAN technology. It also does not support a wired internet connection, meaning you can't plug like a cable modem into this out of the box. Don't worry, it is something that you can upgrade, so you're not going to buy something and find out you need it and have to return the hardware, but there is a fee for that. For $99 later, they will unlock the device. There's a license you can purchase, and that will give you the ability to pick up campground Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi as WAN technology with the same hardware, and it will also unlock the WAN port here, so that if you have a cable modem or you want to use this at home or at a lodge or somewhere where you may have wired internet, you can go ahead and turn on that feature. It's not $99 per feature. One $99 thing unlocks all the features, and it unlocks them forever. It's not like an annual fee or anything like that. Last, that same $99 fee will also unlock the ability for the modem to do what's called auto failover, meaning that you could set your SIM card, your cellular, in what's called, priority A, meaning use my cellular all the time. And then you could set up campground Wi-Fi in priority B. And that would allow you to, if the cellular ever went out, fail over to the campground Wi-Fi, or vice versa. It also unlocks the ability to do something called load balancing. So you can put both the campground Wi-Fi and the cellular both in priority 1. And what that means is it'll use the campground Wi-Fi and your cellular at the same time. It does not mean it's going to combine them into one super fast internet pipe. It means that it will load balance. So some of your traffic will go out the Wi-Fi and some of your traffic will go out the cellular. Comes in pretty handy though if you have a lot of devices, because you can kind of get access to more bandwidth doing that. Again, all of that is something that you can upgrade to with that $99 license. Out of the box, those 3 features that I discussed at the end will not be accessible. But the cellular access in this device works great for most people, and that's all they really need. All right, so let's talk about the roof antenna that comes in the Essentials bundle. All right, and some accessories down here. This is the Poynting MIMO 3 series antenna. This is a roof mountable antenna. It has a ton of mounting options. You can have your wires come down off the roof, straight down, as in the configuration it's in right now. Or if you look here, you'll see a little channel right here where the wires can come out the back. You'll also see these 6 little ports here where you can actually add magnets to this antenna that will allow it to be a magnet mount with the wires going out the back. Down here you've got an adhesive attachment on the bottom of the antenna that will allow you to adhesive mount the unit if necessary. Now this antenna is a 5-in-1 antenna, but the Essential bundle comes with a 2-in-1 antenna. The major difference is that the Essential bundle does not have Wi-Fi in the bundle on the roof. You can buy the Mini and the 5-in-1 antenna separately on our store if you want to kind of future-proof your roof antenna by putting in a 5-in-1 in case you ever felt like you wanted to add that $99 Wi-Fi as WAN technology. I'd highly recommend you do that. But if you're not planning on it and you're saying, look, I'm just going to use cellular, the 2-in-1 that comes with the bundle is plenty for you. So you get 2 cellular antennas on the roof with a setup like this. And we have a video on how to install this antenna if you're curious and you're worried about roof leaks or anything that might be concerning to you. Now, if you do want to take advantage of the GPS feature in this unit, what that essentially means is that you'll be able to access the cloud-based website called In Control 2 that Peplink provides for 1 year. It's kind of like LoJack. It's very private and secure. They're a company that does a lot of business with government and municipalities, so they've got their security down pat. But you'd essentially be able to view where your RV is online at any given time. If, for instance, it was ever lost or stolen, or in my case, I had an RV repair store, damage some stuff inside of the RV, and I was able to go and look at the GPS and see that they were driving way faster than the posted speed limit and report that to the managers and have the repair covered by them without any questions. So the GPS function can come in very handy. Now this is only a 2-in-1 antenna, so it doesn't have GPS on the roof, but don't worry, this included antenna does not have to be mounted outside. Typically, if you mount it near this unit in a cabinet or kind of near a window, the GPS will pick up pretty well, even though it is not outside. The antenna also comes with all the accessories needed to route the cables out the back, and it also comes with the screws needed for the magnet mount kit. They do not come with the magnet kit, so don't throw this bag out if you buy this kit. You'll regret that later because those screws are a little hard to come by. Now the Essentials router and kit is a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi system, so you're not getting access to the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi like you would in our next bundle we're going to discuss, but 2.4 gigahertz, plenty fast for Netflix, plenty fast for Zoom calls, video conferencing, all of that stuff. So this is a great solution for most folks. All right, so we're going to move on to our full timer bundle next. Give me a second and I'll put all this stuff away. Okay, welcome to the full timer bundle. A lot has not changed because there are some very similar functions and features. Full timer bundle is stepping you up to this, which is the MK2 series modem by Peplink. Technically, it's called the Max BR1 MK2. Still a metal housing, quite a bit heavier, quite a bit of heft on this modem, This unit is going to step you up to a slightly faster processor, a little bit more memory, and a few additional features. Some of the basics you'll see are pretty common. You've got your 2 cellular ports. This is a Category 6 modem, just like what the Essentials bundle is. You've got your GPS port, your 2 SIM card slots here, down below. On this side, you've got your DC power port. You'll notice this one's a little bit bigger, still removable, although that screw's been tightened up so I can't pull it out right now. Still removable, and it's got 4 ports instead of 2. The other 2 are for, honestly, machine-to-machine communication or serial port access. If you want to put this on a combine unit and turn on lights on a tractor, you can do that. I don't think it's going to matter for most folks. You've got your standard kind of DC power port over here, and again, your 2 ports for LAN. This is labeled WAN, but it can also be rebranded to a LAN port inside the interface. You can actually switch it. No license upgrades in this device needed. Your Wi-Fi as WAN, your cellular auto failover, your prioritization of your connections, all are going to function right out of the box in the full timer bundle. One thing you'll notice that's different is, well, I've got 1 extra antenna port. There's 2 Wi-Fi ports on this one. This unit will support the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi that we discussed. So you're going to have the 2.4 gigahertz long-range Wi-Fi and the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. They can broadcast at the same time in this unit. So you can have a network for 2.4 and you can have a network for 5, and you can connect certain devices to each of them dependent on what your needs are. Normally I recommend to folks they connect, anything close, desktops, things that are close to the device, to the 5 gigahertz. It'll be a little bit quicker. They don't need the range. Connect phones, outdoor devices to the 2.4 gigahertz, and they'll do a little bit better with the longer range, but slightly slower Wi-Fi. The WAN port right out of the box functions, so you can plug this into a cable modem and use a standard wired internet device, and then fail over to the cellular or the Wi-Fi as WAN. And because you've got that 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, you could actually connect to 2 different campground Wi-Fi networks if the campground has 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So technically you could have your cellular on, you could have Wi-Fi connected to the campground's 2.4 network, and then Wi-Fi connected to the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, and you'd be bringing all of those sources in for your internet use. So the full timer bundle is quite popular and has a lot of features. We typically recommend that this is for up to about 60 devices. A device could be a printer, it could be a Alexa, it could be a smartphone, it could be a computer, but this will support quite a few devices, and it's designed to do so. So this is a great unit. In terms of what other options you get, same thing. You're getting your GPS antenna, you're getting your power adapter, you're getting 2 slightly larger cellular antennas that come with this for a little bit more power and gain, and you're getting the 2 Wi-Fi antennas as well. You'll also get access to the roof antenna, and now that we have our 5-in-1 antenna out from the last video, it'll all make sense. So same roof antenna, same multiple access or multiple installation options, wires coming down, out the back, adhesive mount, magnet mount option available in this antenna, so it's a highly flexible antenna, and 5 leads coming off of this antenna. So you've got your 2 cellular, your 2 Wi-Fi, 2 cellular, 2 Wi-Fi, and your GPS all coming down from the roof, and that will fill all of the ports here on the device. With this 5-in-1 antenna, you will be able to pick up campground Wi-Fi, as mentioned before, but if you have an Airstream or another kind of metal enclosed RV, it may actually be challenging if you're transmitting your wireless from outside your RV. The benefit is your exterior Wi-Fi on your patio and whatnot will be significantly better, but it may not transmit inside of the coach as well as you'd like. That's okay, and this is actually a great kit if that is a challenge that you're facing. What we recommend to customers is you hook up one of the Wi-Fi antenna ports here to the roof antenna, and then you take one of the small stubby antennas and you connect it to the other port. That will give you a transmitter inside of the coach and on the roof, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. And they will work pretty well with one on the roof, so you get outside access and the ability to pick up campground Wi-Fi, and on the inside, so all of your devices inside can connect to the internet as well. So that's the full timer bundle. Let me take a moment to put this away, and then we'll move on to talk about our Speed Demon bundle. So we've been discussing all Category 6 modems up until now. And now we're going to talk about a Category 18 modem. So we're jumping all the way to the top in terms of what technology is out there and what speed you can access. Look how many antenna ports are on that bad boy. Slightly more complicated installation, but not too bad. So this is called the Transit Cat 18 Prime Care Edition. Now, with this modem and with all the transits, most of the features are pretty similar. So I'm probably going to show you this same modem for both the Speed Demon and our Ultimate Road Warrior and our standard Road Warrior bundles, which we'll go into next. So let's kind of go through the hardware summary and features. We've got our DC power input, as we did before. This one's got a few more transmission and receive functionality ports for our machine-to-machine technology and communication. Not something that we think any of you guys are probably going to use. These two USB ports on the front here are actually for batteries. You can plug in like those small battery packs that charge your cell phone using a standard micro USB cable into here. Plug in one of them and it'll actually power up this device, making it very portable. Popular for live streamers, backpackers, folks that kind of want to be on the road, news crews, or anyone who kind of needs to get a lot of internet portable. The reason why there's two ports is you can actually plug in a second battery and unplug the first battery so you can go charge it without the device going offline. Nice function. Vast majority of people won't use it, but if you do have a van or something small where you want to have uninterrupted access, you don't want to go through a bunch of trouble of getting to 12 volt power, or maybe you have a travel trailer that doesn't have batteries in it, that could be an interesting option for using the device when you don't have either 12 volt or shore power. In the box you have your same complement of what you're used to in all of our bundles: your GPS antenna, your power cord, your DC power adapter, but then you're going to be getting 4 cellular antennas and 2 Wi-Fi antennas, these small guys. There's your Wi-Fi, which is a longer one, and your small cellular. And those are going to be hooking up back here to this massive port connection plate here. Now, the Speed Demon bundle with the Cat 18 has 2 SIM card slots. This is a single modem device, just like the previous units that we talked about. So you can use SIM A or SIM B, not both at the same time. But you have a Category 18 modem in this bundle, so you've got that max theoretical throughput of 900 plus megabits per second. So this thing can scream if you have a tower and a cellular provider that can support it. These two top connections are your cellular connections. This supports what's called 4x4 MIMO or MIMO, and that will give you quite a few various connections to that cell tower all simultaneously. Carrier aggregation, all sorts of the newest, latest technology to really get you the top, fastest speeds. Down here, you've got your Wi-Fi connections. This is a device that, like the full timer bundle, we're stepping into the unit that supports the 2.4 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz or 5.8 gigahertz Wi-Fi at the same time. And then we have our GPS port. Again, 2 SIM card slots on this device. And this also comes with mounting brackets so that you can mount it up in an area or against a wall. And it does actually have an optional DIN rail installation, which probably isn't applicable to RVing, but it is an option on our store. Now, the Speed Demon bundle comes with our 7-in-1 pointing antenna. We still have the 5-in-1 here for example purposes, but they're basically the same. There's just 2 additional cables in the 7-in-1 bundle. So what you're getting with this antenna is 4 cellular antennas, so you can connect up all 4, 2 Wi-Fi antennas, that gets us up to 6, and then 1 GPS, which gets us up to 7. With this antenna, again, with the Speed Demon bundle, you're getting the optional magnet mount option, the down spigot option, the ability to wire the wires out the back if you want, the adhesive mount that comes with this unit, and we've got plenty of videos on how to install this if you're worried about drilling holes in your roof. This antenna is a great option, and the size of the 5-in-1 and the 7-in-1 are exactly the same. So this exterior footprint is about 9 inches by about 5.5 inches, if I recall, is going to be the same regardless of what bundle you get. The other benefit that the Category 18 modem has is it has access to band 71 and band 14. Band 71 is that new T-Mobile rural band that they're calling 5G. This modem does have access to that and can support it. So that is a nice plus for the Category 18. Definitely something you want to consider if you're a T-Mobile customer, is to go into this modem. It also supports band 14, which is AT&T's rural band. That is also called FirstNet. It's a first responder band that they built out for police, ambulance, and fire for rural band use, but it also has the ability to be used by the public when first responders are not in need of it. Again, though, the Speed Demon Cat 18 modem is one of what we would consider our kind of less reliable modems. It's kind of like a car. The faster they go, you know, sometimes the more they need to be in the shop. That doesn't mean that they necessarily have a higher failure rate. That's not what I mean. But they can occasionally need to be rebooted in order to get optimal access to all of the cell towers. And it's a relatively new modem, so new firmware updates are coming out on it every single day. We've sold hundreds of these. A lot of people are very happy with the unit. But if you're like, I just want it to work, I never want to think about it, and I'm not technical at all, I'd probably look at the full-timer bundle or possibly go into our Road Warrior bundle, which we're going to talk about next. All right, home stretch. Only 2 bundles to go. And it's getting a little dark out here, so I'm actually going to combine these into talking about them in one sort of section. So we've got our Road Warrior bundle and our Ultimate Road Warrior bundle. Those are 2 bundles that we have on our store. What are the differences? Now, both of these bundles come with dual modem transits. Dual modem is different than dual SIM. When I showed you the modems before that had multiple SIM card slots, it was either access to SIM A or SIM B, and they couldn't be used at the same time. When we get into our Road Warrior and Ultimate Road Warrior bundle, we have 4 SIM card slots and we have 2 modems in the device. So we can use 2 SIMs at the same time. No, you do not need 2 SIM cards. If you want to look at purchasing one of these bundles, you can load up 1 single SIM and they will operate perfectly fine without anything in the second modem. But the second modem will give you access to some pretty cool features. Now the hardware, or the external aspect of the Road Warrior and the Ultimate Road Warrior, it's virtually identical to the Speed Demon device. So I'm going to show you the same device, but I'll highlight what the differences are, even though they're virtually identical. I have one with me right now. It's currently my internet in my RV, and I don't feel like pulling it out because I have to upload this video for you guys. But trust me, it's all the same. The front is identical. There's no difference. You've got your DC power input here. You've got your LAN port, your WAN port, which can also be reassigned as another LAN port, your DC power input, and your USB power inputs here to power the device. The back, again, virtually identical. You've got 2 cellular antennas here and 2 cellular antennas here. The difference is that these are for modem 1 and these 2 are for modem 2. So we can run and operate 2 modems at the same time. We still have our GPS. We still have our 2 Wi-Fis. The Road Warrior and the Ultimate Road Warrior both support 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. The long-range Wi-Fi and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi are shorter distance but faster Wi-Fi. Pretty much the only hardware difference with this modem is that behind here, now you have 4 SIM card slots. You've got 1, 2 here for modem A and 1, 2 here for modem B. Or you could call it the other way around, modem 1, A and B, modem 2, A and B. You get the idea. Now, these 2 modems can operate at the same time. What that means is if you put let's call it an AT&T and a Verizon SIM in at the same time, and you load them up in your dashboard, both up to priority 1, it will use both modems at the same time. It will not combine them. That term called bonding that everybody thinks this modem can do, it can do. It has all of the software and technology to do it in our bundle, but I'll get into why you need a little bit of extra stuff to get that working. So it won't work out of the box. What it will do out of the box is it will load balance these 2 modems. So some of your internet traffic will go out of SIM A and some of your internet traffic will go out of SIM B. If you've got 2 AT&T SIMs in here, you'd have to pay for 2 data plans, but in theory you would have double the bandwidth. It would be like having 2 hotspots running at the same time, and the modem is smart enough to know, okay, this one's being used by one computer, I'm going to use this other modem for the other computer so that they both have a faster experience. That load balancing technology is built into both the Road Warrior and the Ultimate Road Warrior. So what's the difference between the Road Warrior and the Ultimate Road Warrior? The difference is the category of modem. The Road Warrior package has 2 Category 6 modems, the same modems that were in our full-timer bundle. Great modem, super fast, 300 megabits max throughput per modem, and it's an absolutely great device that is priced incredibly well in that bundle package. The Ultimate Road Warrior steps up to a Category 12 modem. That Category 12 modem also supports something called FirstNet if you are on AT&T, which gives you access to their rural band that they use for first responders, but that also let the public use when first responders aren't using it. That can help out quite a bit if you're on the AT&T network. The Ultimate Road Warrior's Category 12 modem does have theoretically twice the throughput of the Category 6 in the Road Warrior bundle. So you're getting that 600 megabits throughput. So the Ultimate Road Warrior is definitely a good modem to look at and consider. Now both the Road Warrior and the Ultimate Road Warrior modems have a technology built in them called Speedfusion that allows you to bond those 2 modems together into a single, what Hepwave calls unbreakable connection. What that means is if one modem goes offline, if you're in the middle of a video conference, the conference will not break and you'll continue to be connected. That doesn't always mean, okay, I have 10 megs on this SIM and I have 50 megs on this SIM, I'm going to connect them and I'm going to get 60 megs. I wish that were true, but bonding requires quite a bit of bandwidth to actually connect the 2 SIMs together. So manage your expectations when it comes to Speedfusion. In order to use the Speedfusion technology, you have to host the Speedfusion server up in the cloud. That means you've got to have a working knowledge of how to spin up a server in the cloud, and it can get a little complicated. Peplink does and just has released something called their Speedfusion Cloud. So they will host it all for you and turn it on with just a few clicks of a button, but there are gigabit limitations to that. And it can, run you for, it could probably run you $100 a month to pay for their cloud hosting server. Stay tuned or message us. We also have a beta program we're running where we're hosting Speedfusion servers for customers. So we can talk about that with you offline. We'll do a separate video on our own private Speedfusion cloud, which is an option. But the point is, with this device, you're getting all of the licensing to gain access to the ability to do the what's called SD-WAN or WAN bonding of multiple connections at the same time. Now the Speedfusion technology with the Ultimate Road Warrior and the Road Warrior doesn't just stop with your cellular connections. You can actually take the Wi-Fi as WAN and your wired internet, and you can bring them all together into one single connection. So you could have campground Wi-Fi at 2.4 gigahertz, campground Wi-Fi at 5 gigahertz, cellular modem A, cellular modem B, and a cable modem and have them all connected into one single fat or fast pipe with the licensing that's included with those two devices. So the Road Warrior and the Ultimate Road Warrior are some of the most advanced mobile connectivity solutions that are currently available on the market today. So that does it. I'm getting kind of eaten by bugs, so I want to wrap up this video. But before we stop, I do want to talk to you about one additional thing with our bundles, which is that you might have noticed that in some of our bundles, they say, you know, Ultimate Road Warrior, and it's got this antenna. And you'll see others where they say Ultimate Road Warrior MobileMark Edition. A MobileMark antenna and this antenna are very similar in terms of their performance. You can read up on the specs, but they're going to have very, very similar performance. The MobileMark does cost a little bit more, and it actually has fewer installation options than this antenna. So the vast majority of people will go with the cheaper option, which makes sense. But to talk about the MobileMark, there are a couple key benefits to it. One, it's smaller. It's only a 6.5 inch or so wide antenna, and it's quite a bit shorter. It does really well with Sprinter vans or anything else where a metal roof is already in play. And if you don't have a metal roof, you can get a grounding plate that they sell as part of the kit. And they also make a pole mount for the MobileMark antenna. So there are quite a few different mounting options with that kit. The reason why it's more expensive, honestly, it's made in the USA, which is great if you want to support that. And MobileMark, I think, has a much more established name and reputation in the antenna industry, so they charge a little bit more for it, and I think those antennas are worth it. My bus has a MobileMark antenna on it. That said, if you're looking at something where you're going to have a magnet mount option, or you want to run the wires out the back and maybe enter into a box or do something else custom with your installation, the Poynting antenna is going to be a better choice in most situations. That's really just personal preference, and that's whatever your installation is best for. All right, guys, that sort of sums it up. Those are our internet bundles as of mid-2020, so thanks so much for watching. As always, our staff is available on our store, mobilemusthave.com. You can start up a chat there and ask any questions you have. Thank you so much for watching, through this video and kind of educating yourself on everything we do before you engage our staff on questions and stuff. That helps us get to more folks faster. We really appreciate it. And let's get you connected, and we'll see you on the road.